Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all having an amazing week. I'm sorry about the camera angle. I'm using a different camera just now because the other camera I had, I can't get it to go on. I don't know. I'm very good at technology. To be honest, it's probably the most simplest thing or something that's wrong with it. And I just don't know how to get it on, one of those ones. So this is a different camera, so this camera is a lot higher than the other one. So I can adjust my lighting, because if I go down, I just, like in a sit, I just look like a wee floating head. So I'm going to have to... So in fact, I might be able to adjust this. Bear with me, troops. See? Pause. Do you know what? I'm not even going to fuck about with the lighting because my friend, he does photography and stuff. He set up my lighting equipment and I don't want to start moving it up and down because then I'll know how to get it back up. So we're going to talk about today, I done a poll on my Instagram, which if you've not got my Instagram, well, you're missing out. Like, you could have me gracing your timeline every day. Hello. Anyway. So, and by the way, I've just had my lips done, so they're a wee bit swollen from talking a wee bit like that. So we're going to talk about John Wayne Gacy. Now, John Wayne Gacy is a serial killer back in the late 60s, 70s. He was also a sexual predator and a paedophile, basically. Now, John Wayne Gacy grew up. Do you know what? I'm just going to sit down and I'm just going to have to look like a floating head, guys. You're just going to cope with it. I'm sorry. I'm a floating head. Ah. And I've just had a shower, so my hair, this is my natural hair, do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing much I can do. So, I know it's a sight for sore eyes, but, we move, cope with it, deal with it, whatever. So, today, we're going to talk about him. So, John Wayne Gacy was brought up, he was one of, I think, two sisters and a brother. So, he was one of three or four children. He grew up in a fairly normal household with his mum and his dad. His mum was more of the caregiver and his dad was like a workaholic and an alcoholic, and his dad was like always used to put pressure on the kids and was quite nasty to the kids and didn't really have much what do you call it, like much, oh, what's the word? It'll come back to me, but he didn't have much belief in his kids, and out of the three, for some reason, John seemed to get it the worst off his father. And no matter what John done, like what accomplishments he done, or what grades he got, or what jobs he had, like it was never good enough for his dad, because John ended up like really liking like theatre and music, and was known for being quite shy and stuff like that. And his dad obviously didn't like that. Like his dad wanted like a macho man, and obviously that wasn't what John was. Like, John's dad wanted a guy that did mechanics, or was a builder, like done man's work, whatever that is, like. And John just wasn't that type of person, so like his dad was just like never happy. Like, no matter what he done, his dad just wasn't happy. His mum, on the other hand, she was always very supportive. She was always a good comfort for him, but like his dad wasn't. So John's first criminal offence was for sexual harassment and sexual assault. He touched up a young boy in a club and forced himself on this young guy, and the young guy reported it to police. And because it was John's first time, oh god, I need my roots done, because it was his first time, I think he only got like community service. So fast forward, John gets a job working for a sales company. He's making his own money, he moves into his own flat. Everything seems to be going like pretty good for him. His life's going good, he's doing good, he's got a job, he's been able to afford his own house, he's moved out his parents' house, he's away from his father, things are going good. Now, to this day, John Gacy has said he's openly bisexual, but I think he might have been gay, hence why he killed the young men and all that. Like, cause I feel it was like he was ashamed of his sexuality, so I think like he took it out on these like other young like gay people, if that makes sense. So yeah, so the first murder occurred. John had went to a gay bar, came home with a young gay man, and the story goes, or the story that John told police, was that he woke up and the victim, the guy that he murdered, was standing in his room with a knife, and John felt threatened and felt like the guy was going to like, I should have really tied my hair up, do you know that? That the guy was going to attack him. So John said he bounced out of bed, ran to the guy to get the knife off them. This is in John's own flat. A fight broke out, they were struggling, and the next thing the knife went into the guy, and that's how the guy died. It was an accident. So went to court for this, was held in police custody for several weeks, and it actually turned out that the guy that John Gacy had a one night stand with and said he woke up for the night, the guy was standing above him holding the knife. Turns out the guy was actually making food and like had made toast, and had come in, just so happened to have the knife in his hand, but he'd come in to wake John up. And obviously John's took that the wrong way, or maybe he didn't, maybe that was just his excuse, and he's murdered the guy. But this is when the trouble starts, because after that first kill, John has said in his autobiography and interviews that's when he got the taste for it, like hiding the body, covering it up, doing the stabbings. They said they got a kind of happiness, like a thrill from it, and he wanted more. So fast forward a couple of years, he doesn't murder anybody else, he's fairly low key, meets a girl, future wife, they get married, he settles down, they have kids, they move in together, he's a happily married man, his life seems to be going good. But as time goes on, John starts to realise that he's also having like sexual feelings for men. So he tells his wife this, and then maybe his wife already had an idea, because she was like, okay, cool, like it didn't bother her, but he did say to her, like, but we won't be having sex anymore. Don't know why, like, if you're bisexual you can still have sex with women, but for some, that's why I think he was gay, because he stopped having sex with his wife. Anyway, that's just my opinion. But yeah, so that was that. Stopped having sex with his wife, and then built like a man cave in his garage, and he used to bring multiple young men home for clubs, and his wife saw this. Obviously she didn't know what was exactly going on in there, but she had the gist of it. And then one day he brought a young man home to his garage, had sex with the guy, then strangled him and took the guy out to like a wooded forest area near his house and buried the guy. That was his second victim. And then this is when just like, but John's murders were never like some serial killers, it's like there's not a lot of big gaps in between. It's like every couple of days or one a week or whatever, not all, but some, but his were like years or 6 months in between each victim. So as time goes on, multiple guys, same situation, bringing them home, having sex with them, drugging them, killing them, strangling them, raping them, whatever. And during this time, John gets a job as like a circus clown. And if any of you have ever saw American Horror Story, see the clown, I just need to fix this lighting. See the clown that's in that, like the scary clown with like the smile and the blood going down their face? That clown, this is a fact for you guys, is actually based on John Wayne Gacy. Like that's who that character's based on, like the makeup, the clown, everything. Because John was a clown for a couple, like this is like saying this, I feel like silly even saying it, but he worked as like a clown, like he went to kids' I mean, that is the creepiest thing ever, to think like somebody like him was like around kids, like kids parties, and especially since he had been done with like assaulting several young men and raping them, and he'd been done with sexual assault and rape like 5 or 6 times. He'd get community service twice and then got the jail once, and he was in the jail for like, I think it was like 2 or 3 years, but in that time he became like really popular in the jail and had a job and was dead friendly with like all the police and all that, and it was just, I think he was very charismatic and was good at like putting on a show and getting people to trust him and like him, and then you'd think like somebody like him would never be capable of like raping young men or murdering them or that, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, so he's working as a clown and doing his kids show, and he had a nickname like Puggles or Podles the Clown. Creepy, I know. So during the time he's working as a circus clown and doing kids' parties, um, he's still murdering guys, so he's going out to gay clubs, same kind of thing as Jeffrey Dahmer, going out to gay clubs, flirting, picking guys up, bringing them home, spiking their drink, waiting to the receipt, strangling them, stabbing them, and then what he was doing was he was like dismembering them. He started dismembering them, and like by this time he had moved. Him and his wife were still married, but he'd moved out and had his own place, like his own house, and he started putting the bodies like under his floorboards, and neighbours had started reporting like a weird smell, but his excuse was always, oh, like it's bad drainage because the area, something like the way the houses were built underneath could flood very easily and it gave it like a funky smell or something like that. So that's how he got off with having the bodies under the floors for so long, because he just said, oh, it's it's a weird smell because of the houses and what the houses are built on. So he's still working as a clown, still doing kids' parties, still picking up other gay men, taking them home, murdering them, strangling them, burying them, dismembering them. And a lot of people think he actually had an accomplice, that he couldn't have buried and done all this alone, like it had to be another person helping him, which I personally think is true and is believable, because like the bodies were dismembered and separately in bags and hid and dug up like graves and all that, like dug, like the police had said when they found the bodies it was like actual dug up graves, like what you'd see up in a graveyard. So I definitely think there was an accomplice, and he did have a roommate for a little while, but the guy said he always found something strange about John, but he didn't know what was going on. But I think maybe the guy knew, and John's just being a real one and like, I'm no a grass and not obviously said anyone helped him, but I personally think there was. But what actually got John caught in the end was he went home. So he kept getting away with it. He would get caught for like minor sex offences, never the murders, but he would always get caught for sex offences because he would rape people, like rape young men. Some of them he would let go, some he would kill, but the ones he would let go would obviously report it to police. So this was on John's record, but for some reason the police just only put him in prison once or twice. Like if they'd put him away for a long, long time, it would have saved all these killings and all these murders and all these young gay men for dying, but they didn't. They just kept letting them away with it, and that's because I think he was like a pillar of the community, and he was known for, he was very well liked, he was very quiet, like everybody kind of never suspected him or thought he was like that. He was very good at being charming and getting his way out of things, and that's why I think he got off with stuff so lightly and got away with it for as long as he did. But and especially like being a clown at a kid's party, like can you imagine him, a paedophile, working at a kid's party? Like it gives me the heebie-jeebies even thinking about it. What a horrible man. And he's still alive to this day, John Gacy, and if you go on YouTube you can see his interviews where he talks more in detail. As I said, don't take me as Bible and I'm the here and end and all for it. If you obviously want to know more details, know more facts, know more about the victims, if you want to go right in depth about their deaths and stuff like that, you can Google it, YouTube, whatever, and there's obviously more information. I'm just obviously giving you like the basic facts about the murders and when and how and stuff like that. But you can, if you wanted to, if you're into murder and mystery and stuff like that and conspiracy theories and you want to delve deep into anything I talk about on the channel, then honestly, like, feel free, like you should really do it, because if you're like me, if you're anything like me, I started running down like rabbit holes with it, and then before, see this hair of mine, God's thick, and then before, oh look at this wee cute thing. I know this is just off topic, but it's like a wee lucky, what is that? Oh, it's an elephant. Wee lucky elephant. It's cute, isn't it? Hopefully it brings me money, because every morning I get up and I'm like, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am rich, I am that bitch, gonna go get that cash, I ain't gonna take your shit. Anyway, I'm going off topic. So yeah, he eventually got himself caught because he not kidnapped, but obviously took home a young man. People seen this young man leaving with him, and obviously people knew who John was because he frequented the gay clubs a lot. So when the police went to the bar to interview, obviously the people at the bar said, oh yeah, he left with him, blah blah blah. The police got his address, went to his house, and as soon as the police got there, they could just tell with the way John looked. Like, this must have been not long after him burying the guy, because they said he was sweaty, he was covered in dirt, and there was a weird smell for the house. But the police knew straight away what the smell was, as police do. Police know, they're smart that way. They eventually got a warrant to search his house, and and they came across the bodies under the floorboards, and that was him live in prison. And he's still alive and in prison to this day. I think he's still alive because I was watching a documentary for about a year or two back. He's maybe dead now. I need to check that. You need to check that, troops. I'm not too sure. But yeah, you know, just horrible stuff. And you always find with serial killers, there's some sort of issue with their sexuality. And I think that's why they murder, because they're angry at other gay people. I don't know, they're suppressing it and they've got all this. It's just strange. They're actually giving us gays a bad name as if we're often murderers and all that shit. But I promise for the next video I'm going to have my lighting and my camera and stuff sorted. That I'm only using this camera for this video till somebody comes to fix my other one. That's how I'm off a low down, because I can't. Oh. But you know, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was very, I hope you learned some interesting facts and information you didn't know before, or even didn't know about this serial killer. And you know, as I said, if you want to know anything more, you can go into YouTube or Google and you can delve right into it. And if you're into murder mystery, you should, because you know, it's so interesting. But I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you have a lovely day. If there's any serial killers or conspiracy theories you would like to see me talk about, don't feel free to message me or comment below. You can get me on my Instagram, it's DaveBall. I'll also link that below. Stay tuned for my next video. I upload one video a week, and every week I'll be talking about a new serial killer. And I usually post on my Instagram and let people pick between the two what one. So this was John Wayne Gacy. As I said, you can look it up, you'll find lots of information about him on the internet. I do apologise about the angle, it will be so much better next time. As I said, not good with technology, broke my camera, duh. But we move. So thanks very much for watching, thanks for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Enjoy the rest of your day and stay gorgeous. Bye.